Having just wrapped up playing the 2002 Spider-Man video game on the original Xbox, I walked away with a feeling of shameless enjoyment for a game that I spent countless hours playing when I was a young lad. Was it perfect? Not even close. In fact, there are plenty of moments throughout the game where its flaws are impossible to ignore. The camera can be frustrating, the lock-on system is not great, and Spider-Man's movements occasionally feels a little too erratic for its own good. Yet despite all of that, I can't help but have a great time every time I come back to it, and it's really one of those games that's somehow bad but good at the same time.
What kind of example does it set for impressionable youngsters out there?
One of the things I appreciate most about it is that it doesn't simply retell the plot of the movie. Instead, Treyarch expands upon the film's story and uses it as a springboard to bring in classic Spider-Man villains that never appeared in the movie itself. Characters like Shocker, Vulture, and if you're playing the Xbox version, Kraven the Hunter, all make appearances and help the game feel like a celebration of Spider-Man's wider cast of adversaries rather than just a movie adaptation. The game also deserves credit for assembling a surprisingly strong cast. Tobey Maguire and Willem Dafoe both reprise their roles from the film, helping maintain the connection to the movie, but the real standout for me is Bruce Campbell as a tutorial narrator. His constant sarcasm and fourth wall breaking commentary are hilarious throughout the early part of the campaign. Even during sections I've played through a dozen times, his dialogue still manages to get a good chuckle out of me.
You see those heavily shadowed areas? Whenever you're in a shadowed spot like that, you become invisible to the bad guys.
From a gameplay perspective, it's easy to see how heavily Treyarch was influenced by Neversoft's Spider-Man. The combat, level structure, and overall feel are immediately familiar to anyone who played that game. However, there are some noticeable improvements that make this feel like more than just a copy and paste successor. The web swinging, while still amusingly dependent on invisible ceilings rather than actual buildings, feels a little smoother and more responsive, which can probably be attributed to the jump in hardware at the time. It might not hold up against modern Spider-Man games, but for 2002 it does a respectable job of making you feel like you're moving around as the real deal. What I particularly like is the sense of progression added through the collectible golden spider emblems hidden throughout each level. Unlike the Neversoft Spider-Man game where you could often rely on the same attacks repeatedly, collecting these emblems unlocks new moves and combos that gradually expand your options in combat. It also gives exploration a purpose and rewards players who take the time to search levels thoroughly. While you can pick up and throw environmental objects in a normal sense, this game went a step further of also adding the ability to quickly fling the closest thing near you, which was another welcome inclusion. It's a simple mechanic, but it makes fights feel more dynamic and encourages you to use the environment rather than relying exclusively on punches and web attacks.
I'm gonna tear you to pieces.
Do it.
The level design is another area where the game can be quite interesting. While many objectives are relatively straightforward, there are several standout missions that have stuck with me over the years. The first few missions remain memorable for all the wrong reasons thanks to the endlessly quotable enemies shouting the same line every minute.
Circus in town? Looks like the freak wants to play.
The shocker levels experienced early on, particularly the subway station and the chase through the sewer sequences, provide some entertaining set pieces and help build up Shocker as a genuine threat.
Don't panic, boys. It was only a matter of time before we had to deal with Spider-Man.
If you're an Xbox player, you also get access to the Kraven missions, which are among the most unique levels in the game. Having to dodge traps and environmental hazards while being hunted down creates a completely different pace compared to the rest of the campaign and adds some good variety. Not every mission is likely to appeal to everyone, however. Later stages such as breaking and entering into Oscorp introduce stealth-focused objectives that require patience and careful observation. Depending on what you're looking for, these sections may either provide a nice change of pace or become moments of trial and error. Players simply wanting to punch bad guys and swing through levels might find these missions frustrating than the more action-focused parts of the game. The boss fights are similarly a mixed bag. None of them are particularly groundbreaking in a sense, but they generally fulfill their purpose. The fight against Uncle Ben's killer is a surprisingly intense early encounter, while Green Goblin provides a challenging test of your skills on several occasions that feels more appropriate for a game based off the first Spider-Man film.
Spider-Man, you poor fool.
Looking back now that the credits have rolled, I think what makes this Spider-Man game so memorable isn't necessarily any individual mechanic, it's the overall charm of the experience. The voice acting, the comic book atmosphere, the memorable villains, the cheesy dialogue, Bruce Campbell's narration, and the simpler fun of being Spider-Man all come together to create something that's greater than the sum of its parts. Objectively speaking, there are better Spider-Man games out there. To be specific, there are certainly better controlling Spider-Man games out there.
Why can't you leave me in peace?
Although despite its flaws, this game remains one of those titles I can never stay mad at. It's messy, occasionally frustrating, undeniably dated, yet somehow still enjoyable, and for me that's what makes it such a guilty pleasure. If you're a Spider-Man fan with a soft spot for early 2000s gaming, I'd still recommend giving this wonderfully chaotic piece of Spider-Man video game history a shot. That's all for this video. If you enjoyed it, please leave a comment below, and as always, I'll see you in the next one.